Hello, and welcome back to my GTNH playthrough. It is January 13th, and we're back over here at my mass beamline area. Just real quick, I did do a little bit of changes over here, mainly because I'm a doofus and accidentally made these two 4 blocks apart, and the rest of these only 3 blocks apart, and that couldn't stand, so again, the matter manipulator is here to save the day. I was able to cut and paste this guy and then rebuild the building to be the actual size I wanted. I did get most of the cabling run for it. The only thing that's left is I do have to put in all the battery buffers and cabling for the main synchrotrons, and then as well as run cable and make patterns for these for the ones that I can make. But and my plan was fully to start the day doing that. But as I was moving this around, I kind of thought about it. I was like, wait a minute, I should probably start making tier 6 water, because the whole reason I even started going down that rabbit hole is to make this QPIC wafer, which to make this particular mask, we do need grade 6. So if anything, I should be building this up while I'm finishing up putting this together, and then moving on to optimizing the other things that were going slow for crafting those compact reactor. So I did in fact get it set up. I've probably had the ability to for a while. I just haven't gone in and made any of the patterns till today. So I did start the day off by like physically assembling this block out, and then I was messing around with how everything worked to try to see if I could come up with my own solution. And I did. It's a little goofy. And some of this is a bit excess, mainly because I don't have dilithium. So if we're to look at grade 6 water, real quick, just to kind of set the stage. Where is it? Grade 6. Grade 6 water. The way you make it is same as all the previous grades, you insert the previous grade into it. In this case, we want to cycle a bunch of different lenses in the order listed, and then it says on the tooltip that it always starts with the where is it called? Where does it say in there? Yeah, there is the final line of the third paragraph. The recipe always starts with the random lens, which, if you're looking at this, that's the red one, so it goes red, green, blah, blah, blah. The only problem is this last one is a dilithium lens, and we do not have access to dilithium yet. I did my bestest to look through NEI to try to figure out if there's a way to like get small ores and stuff, because if you look at the vein stats, this guy's a tier 9 world. I kind of assumed when I was clicking on it that I was about to pop up tier 7, but like, okay, I need to finish that little rabbit hole as well. But no, tier 9, so quite a bit away. And then I was like, okay, it must be like a byproduct of something else. And I went through everything, and then finally I just Googled it, that to see if there was like a way to get dilithium as a byproduct from some other process, and does not appear so. It appears we are actually locked out of it until we get the tier 9 rocket, or I think that one's called the mothership. So it did lead to a little bit of extra stuff going on here, and kind of one of the parts I'm kind of meh on, which is kind of what you see going on right now, where you see all these items constantly cycling. But what I actually did come up with for a solution, so I wanted basically, so what we got going on here, and I did go through a couple of iterations of this. Originally, I was doing it with conduit and thought it was going too slow. Turns out I thought about it later. It's because I didn't have enough buffer chests going on. So what we got going on here essentially is, so again, the addendum is the first step, and as you can see, when the cycle for the 120 seconds resets, then we're waiting on addendum to come over here. The way the structure works is it has this lens indicator hatch and then a lens housing. this lens indicator hatch is just basically a simple on off. If the right lens is in here, this turns off. If the wrong lens is in here, or it wants a different lens in here, it turns on. So we just have this conduit set to activate with or extract with redstone, and then this conduit pulls it out to the start of the cycle. And then each one of these chests is a export bus or import bus into a storage bus, import bus into a storage bus. I was a rookie the first time I set up with AE. I put export bus, but if you don't actually have actual storage on the network, that doesn't work. So you do have to do into a storage bus. And like I said, the first time I did this, I actually used just the EdderIO conduit in between. So the whole reason I added, but that cycles all the way through. And then if you were to look at this, if we were to just follow the order, we got random, amber, so on and so forth. If we go back again into the grade 6 water, it just literally follows this pattern, with the only exception being there's a stick where the dilithium rod is. I guess technically I don't need the stick. I could just, I was hoping I could, there was a reason I had the stick earlier for, I don't know. Actually, there's really no good reason for me to not just have the stick. Interesting. Or pull the stick out. What? It doesn't hurt anything being in there. But you can see right now, though, so right now it's on the part of the cycle where it needs dilithium. So when it needs dilithium, this just stays on until the cycle resets. And then once it finally cycles through till I get a random in here, then this whole thing just keeps cycling. I think if I were to like be a little happier with this, my thought is to essentially set up some sort of logic where if this stays on for too long, it doesn't reset till, or like say this stays on for 10 seconds just for giggles, or like how I would time out how long it takes for everything to cycle. Then it would basically stop all these items from cycling around. But honestly, as long as this doesn't start lag or make me void a bunch of items, which it doesn't seem to, then I'm fine with how it's going. But the whole reason for all these buffer chests is essentially I originally had one buffer chest, but then I was waiting for every item to slowly get inserted, the whole chain to go down, then it would pull out. And then, so like basically it was taking like roughly 5 or 6 seconds to move every item. Whereas if I have the 9 buffer chests, one for each lens, everything is constantly pulling out. The items are constantly cycling. If you look, it takes like about a second. So, I mean, at worst case, and I could pull the stick out because I don't actually need this in here, roughly 8 or 9 seconds to get back to the random lens at the start of the cycle. And unless this random 3 to 5 seconds is just being evil and I get all 15 seconds, like I'm going to go through all the lenses anyways, so should be fine. But I mean, in theory too, if I were using the 9 lenses and it took 15 seconds for each one of those, I would technically fail, I believe, because yeah, it would go, that'd be 135 seconds. So we wouldn't get through everything if we were doing, if we had even the duranium one in there. So that would just be bad luck, and that might just be a bad cycle, and just something we're gonna have to live with, honestly. But I mean, overall, I like how this looks, because if we're just like without any sort of like metrics transmitting, blah blah, can come up here and see what part of the cycle it's on and whether it's still running. Maybe I'll take that stick out if I have more things fail. I have it labeled duranium lens. I might just leave it in there though, to whenever I do get to tier 9. Not that it would be that hard to fix this, but I could just swap this out with the duranium lens and call it good. So the other things I did make sure, kind of like all the other ones, I am running this as single thread. I was running this by itself while I kind of figured out how everything worked and had the rest of the processes going. Once I got it figured out, there is the activity cover, or the advanced redstone receiver in here. as well as the fluid detector cover in this guy. So all that is, again, feeding down into the room logic down here, which is already set up and ready to go all the way to grade 8 water, so we'll never have to come back down here and adjust anything. The only thing that will need to be changed is, I guess technically, since grade 6 is my highest water now, I'm going to leave this guy at 0. No. I want this guy to be... Sorry, brains thinking about that for the moment. Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's fine for now. This will run just fine. Now, if I were to have a activity detector, like, come in here and send a signal from any sort of grade 7 water or grade 6 buffer being full, then this guy will shut off when I'm above this threshold. But for the moment, this guy, whether this guy is on or off, shouldn't matter. Let's see, this guy is the receiver, this guy is the transmitter, this guy is a NOR gate. So yeah, we should be all good. I'll keep an eye on it though, just make sure I'm not thinking about that logic right. And this guy is copied straight off the wiki. You know, I haven't actually looked at the wiki for what the grade 6 one is actually supposed to be. I'm kind of curious. GTNH water line. Curious what its solution is. Water one uses step 6. Have it all scrolled all funny. Looks like, oh, okay, they're using like conveyor modules. They've got a, let's see, they've got a little bit of logic set. They've got a ludicrous chest buffer. Not quite sure how I'd have to read through this to see how it actually works, but definitely very different from the solution I'm going with or came up with. So yeah, it's kind of cool. It's cool I really like the water line. It's kind of cool that it's like a logic puzzle, and honestly, as long as you get it to work, like, you can kind of do it a bunch of different ways. So I think the only ones that are kind of set are, I don't know, the pH one doesn't seem like you could do it very much differently aside from a little bit of cosmetics, and then I guess kind of sort of the same for the certified. Also, I'd probably have to reset the server here in a minute. You can see my frame rate's dropping. I will keep an eye on that, make sure it's not this that's causing those issues, but I have been having a lot more frame drops lately, but the server also has been running a lot more as I've been making circuits. As for my circuit updates, let's see, we are currently chilling at, actually show this guy going off. Should fire a rocket. Nice. No more rain. I did try to use like a rocket that was like quote unquote higher tier to see if it kept the rain off longer, but whenever the rain is removed by that rocket, we only get 11 minutes without it. So yeah, but as for my circuits, I upped the passives, so right now it looks like we're at 10K for everything. So the actual only circuits that I'm still crafting are UV and UHV, so that's pretty sweet. Got plenty of circuits, so that will help speed up a lot of crafting. For tonight/tomorrow, I do want to get this guy finished up, especially as grade 6 water builds up. Set up the crafting of the masks. I want to get essentially all the wafers that I currently use, like all the, whether it be the RAM or the CPUs, integrated circuits, all that stuff set up and firing off of here, so that speeds up a whole lot more. And then I'm not sure from there. I'll check on I think I'll I think before I set that up, I'm going to set the for one of the sets of pyro, not pyro, I always want to call them pyro. One of the sets of volcanuses to just be crafting neutronium because I believe I need like 20,000, or maybe I'll just do a craft to do 20,000 neutronium, just to get that going in the background as well. And then, yeah, we'll see from there. My goal, I do feel like I'm getting a lot closer to being able to make the Compact Mark III. So yeah, that's basically all I got done today. Appreciate you watching. I hope my explanation for this guy made sense. And again, I always say it, but if anybody has any questions about my current setup or how it works, please just let me know, and I'll be more than happy to answer it. But hope you have a good night, and I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.